Stock Exchange. Now, let's talk more about that decision that came through this morning on Stansted Airport. The government upholding an appeal by BAA, effectively giving the green light to the expansion of the airport. It is specifically the expansion of the terminal. It will allow for more flights, by definition, more passengers to use the Stansted Airport, although it doesn't actually have any relation to the building of a second runway. It's not about building a second runway, but it is about expanding the terminal and therefore allowing more flights on an annual basis. It is a decision from Jeff Hoon, the new Transport Secretary, that has rather angered environmentalists, as you would expect. Let's discuss the merits or otherwise of the expansion. Brian Wilson joins me. He's the chairman of FlyingMatters, which an organisation, as the name perhaps suggests, promotes the benefits of flying or the need of it. And also in Brighton is the Liberal Democrats transport spokesman Norman Baker. Gentlemen, good morning to both of you. Brian Wilson, why does Stansted Terminal need to be expanded, do you think?
Well, this is about the best use of existing infrastructure. Frankly, I'm puzzled why any political party should oppose it. That at the moment, Stansted is up to about 23 million. It's only got a consent for 25 million. If you make better use of what's there already, then you can take that up by 2015 to 35 million. As you say, it's not about the second runway, but it ticks the boxes, uses existing infrastructure, immense benefit to the regional economy, and very important in the current context, another 4,000 jobs on top of the 12,000 jobs that Stansted already directly provides. So it's right in line with the reporter's findings, and it's a good decision for passengers, good decision for the regional economy, and a good decision for jobs.
Norman Baker, it will create jobs. It will also make what is already there function considerably more efficiently and make the whole experience better for staff, for passengers, for everyone.
Well, of course, we've seen the enormous influence BAA has had on the government. That's been revealed through the information released on Heathrow, which shows that the Department of Transport is effectively in BAA's pocket. So it's no surprise to me that this decision has come today. But Brian Wilson presents this as an alternative to expansion of the airport and making best use of infrastructure. Of course, the reality is BAA, and indeed all indications are the government as well, are fully in support of more runways at Heathrow and more runways at Stansted. So it's not an either-or. And what we have seen is that whereas other elements of the economy, including other elements of transport, including road transport, are expected to live within their carbon footprint, aviation still seems to believe it should expand indefinitely, irrespective of the massive implications for climate change and the implications indeed for alternative forms of transport such as rail.
Well, Jeff Hoon did say in this statement that this is absolutely not related to the second runway. It doesn't show that there is any government predilection towards building another runway, so it's not about that. Isn't there an argument that if British airports don't cater for the demand that is clearly there, these big airports will actually be built in other countries and the jobs and the wealth creation goes elsewhere?
Well, no, that's not true because, in fact, first of all, there is a huge number of transit passengers using Heathrow in particular, but also to a lesser degree Stansted and Gatwick, who give nothing to the British economy and actually clog up the airport and actually damage, in my view, business in this country. Secondly, there's a huge potential for transfer of significant numbers of passengers off airlines onto railways for domestic journeys and also for near European destinations. And we're seeing other countries investing heavily in high-speed rail. There's no commitment for that from this government. And a lot of the passenger movements, which are taken by air, could in fact be taken by rail.
Brian Wilson, shouldn't we actually be doing something as a nation to discourage the increase in short hops? Having to fly long haul is one thing, but actually getting on a plane between, let's say, Newcastle and London is pretty irresponsible when there's a direct train that does it in 3¼ hours.
Well, I'm very much in favour of high-speed rail and always have been. And if you create alternatives, then people will make their own decisions. But I think you'd find that very few of the destinations that are served from Stansted, which is overwhelmingly about tourist traffic, people getting their annual holiday and so on, can be served by rail. So really the question is whether people travel in comfort or in discomfort. And I certainly don't believe, like Norman Baker, in rationing through discomfort, or indeed from pricing people who look forward to their annual holiday a year out of that market. So as I say, that there are, it's not about a second runway, it's not about the general expansion of aviation, which of course has to accept its environmental responsibilities. It's about making making best use of existing facilities and giving a good deal to passengers and a good deal to the local economy and creating jobs. So, you know, you have to keep these things in balance, and simply to pick on aviation quite irrationally as the sort of source of all evil is something which I simply cannot accept.
Well, gentlemen, we could debate it so much longer. I'm afraid we'll have to leave it there for now. I'm sure we'll return to this on the issue of the second runway. Thank you for now, Norman Baker and Brian Wilson. Thank you very much indeed. And the time a little after 11:45.